You can see it was already loose. These newer trucks can get a clunking noise from the rear leaf spring area, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. Well, hopefully it'll fix that for you. For me, that's what my goal is, that I want to fix this. But basically, we're going to be working with the rear leaf spring bolts. Now, there is a bulletin, 19-NA-129, and that talks about if you have an earlier one, you're going to replace these shims that are in there. Ours is not. By earlier, I mean 2020 trucks. So what we move on to is torquing the rear leaf spring bolts. Now, there's a specific sequence to do it, and there's a specific torque spec. Let's go over the tools needed. We have a 1/2-inch ratchet here. This is a big long one because we're going to be dealing with some larger torque specs. And then we also have the 1/2-inch torque wrench here. You're going to need one that can do torque angle. If not, then you're going to have to wing it. I don't recommend you wing it, but when you watch the video, you'll be able to see maybe some ideas. I'm not telling you to do that. 21mm socket needs to be deep because you got to use it on the leaf spring bolts with the nuts. Now I've got an extension on there. Now yes, that could cause some torque differences, but with what we're doing, we're torquing to 59 foot-pounds, and then we're going 120 to 140 degrees afterwards. That's going to be mighty all right. Now just to go over, you've got number 1, and then you jump to number 2, 3, 4. Pretty much you just want to be on a crisscross torque sequence. You don't want to just do 2 of the same side at the very first. That's going to cause you a little bit of issues. It's not going to set it evenly. But here are the torque specs themselves. So you can see that I'm not fooling you. And then once again the bulletin. Now let's go ahead and get under the truck and get this taken care of. Alright, so we got our torque wrench here. We're going to set that on there. We want to hit 59 foot-pounds on this one. You can see it was already loose. There's 1. There's 2. Three. And now here's 4. Okay, now what they call for is now loosen it 180. We can already see right there we've got some results, and that's good to see. So you want to do it with a normal ratchet, not your torque wrench, but we're going to loosen these up 180. We're going to do the same pattern. All right, now we go back to 59 foot-pounds once again, using the same torque sequence. There's 1, 2, 3, and there's 4. Now this next pass is a 120 to 140 degrees. Alright, so we're going to set these to 120 degrees beyond this, 120 to 140. It'll beep for me when I hit that. There it is. There it is. Alright, so we did our 59 foot-pounds, back it off 180, 59 foot-pounds again. That basically tightens it and then kind of resettles it and then tightens it again. And then we torque it down with 120 to 140 degrees, and that really snugs it down up there. Now let's move on to the right side. Alright, so the same thing on this side. We want to get 59 foot-pounds. 59 foot-pounds. Let's see how loose these ones are. Now basically you just want to go in a crisscross pattern. That's the torque sequence. Okay, we got a little bit out of that one. Very little out of that one. A little bit more out of there. Quite a bit out of that one. Alright, so now let's do our 180 loosen. Go back to a 59 tighten, 59 foot-pounds. Since I lost my light, I'm going to go ahead and make sure all of these are 59. Let me grab a new light, and then we'll do our 140.
All right, with our new light in place, a lot of things to work around. I'm going to get this 120 taken care of. All right, there it is. We are all snugged up on the torque specs for the leaf springs.
Just for reference, let's go ahead and show what they're showing on that step 1. Those are the leaf spring little spacers right in there. Basically, you need to separate the leaf springs, clean them out, put in the new ones in there. The vehicle does need to be lifted up in order to do that. I do not recommend you do that on your own, because if you scratch up these leaf springs, you're going to be attracting more issues than what you initially started with. Do not put grease in there. That's only going to make matters worse. The biggest difference that I've found with these trucks is torquing down the U-bolts.